the current Polish government's explanation for using tanks against demonstrating workers?
Personal difficulties arose while I was in Warsaw, that's right, and I was informed about it, but there are two rules which come into play here. One is that matters of domestic nature, all matters of domestic nature with which especially the Secretary General is not directly concerned, or in which he cannot, so to say, claim any competence. And the second one is that, quite apart from that, I must follow the same rule which is most applied by the people you have to interview in the political field, that I do not discuss discussions. That's to say that talks which I've had behind closed doors will necessarily remain behind closed doors.
Die Spannung zu entspannen, so wie es früher zwischen Israel und Ägypten war.
As for the first question, what I've already said does apply. I wouldn't like to say which questions we have discussed in Moscow, but I've already said to your colleagues in Moscow that all those matters within the Secretary General competence, which are of mutual interest, really were on the table before us, and you can easily guess where you have to put the Middle Eastern question. But it was not special for the Middle East in any way. We just covered the ground, the waterfront, as it's said in America. On the other question, when I go back now, it's just as it's said in the press communique. It is because I do find time, being in Geneva, to take a new personal contact. It is not for any specific purpose. It is just that this affair is now one of very close cooperation between the governments in the region and the Secretariat, and for that reason I should take every opportunity I can find to keep that contact alive, also through personal visits. I have no ready-made or ready plan for how anything in the region should be solved. I don't think anybody has, in fact. That doesn't mean that I haven't certain ideas about the direction, but I feel that such ideas have first of all to be aired and tried out with the governments in the region, and for that purpose I can say, in that light, I can only say now that my firm plans do not extend beyond making the present ceasefire as much of a reality as it can be made, to change it, as I've said in press conferences in New York, from a legal concept into a state of mind. You asked me for very much. I don't think that that's a question on which I could, on a solid basis, have any meaning. And even if I had, I would certainly find it a bit difficult to discuss it. What I want to say is that as Secretary General of the United Nations, I have been pleased to note already in New York, and that was confirmed in Moscow, that representatives of the Soviet government are very much in support of some of the things which I have to do under my duties as Secretary General. That's to say that some of the specific efforts in which I'm engaged have their support. That is a much more limited reply to a much more limited question than the one you put, but I think it's the maximum of what I can reasonably say.
Auf die Frage their influence on the great powers with a view to curbing their atom bomb experiments, which seem to be causing quite a lot of trouble and anxiety.
The United Nations is seized with this question in various ways. Of course, first of all, the Southern Commission, which has a very direct interest in the matter, and where, as you know, initiatives have been taken from the side of the Indian government. Further, it is concerned with the matter because appeals have been made to the Trusteeship Council from certain regions in the Pacific. What may or may come out of all this, I frankly can't say. But in these ways, mainly these two ways, it sees the problem.